Hey everyone, I'm Alex Basements,
And I'm Mike Addix.
and this is the Filmtastic Voyage. So Mike, fun fact,
Yeah.
I've been learning German, and my last name just means basements.
Really?
Yeah, well I already knew that, but I didn't know that it still meant basements. I thought it was like old-timey.
Oh, okay. So it's literally just the word basements?
Yep, so if it's like, look at the basements, it's just like debasements. Or sorry, dekeller.
So what's what makes it plural, I guess? What part of the word Keller?
Well, Keller is like moose. It's
Okay.
like plural and singular.
Oh, okay. So it could be basement or basements.
Yeah, so der basement or debasement. Or sorry,
Oh.
der Keller or dekeller.
All right.
I'm all confused.
If I remember correctly, because my dad's been doing a lot of that Ancestry.com, like dads do these days. It was like Harding was derived from some other name that was a lot like Harding, and they named it after some Norwegian soldier that would just like run into battle and start killing everybody.
Fun.
Yeah,
It's just like you.
just like me. Now I'd be running the other way.
I mean, my first name means conqueror, I think. So I'm conqueror of basements.
Oh, okay. Well, someone's got to conquer him, Alex.
Yeah, and if you go back 10 years, I was conquering some basements. High school
Yeah.
Alex, it's all over those basements.
All right.
Playing Super Smash Bros. Or whatever the fuck. High school shit.
Now, okay, you're from the great state of Illinois, right?
Illinois.
Illinois. Do they have basements aplenty in
Fucking
Illinois?
yeah, basements are the shit over there. We got them tornadoes.
So you have
They
tornadoes.
come up blowing in, but it's okay because you got that basement.
What's the closest you've ever been to a tornado, Alex?
I mean, I've been inside during tornadoes, so I wouldn't know literally how close.
I mean, has it like gone through your house?
Tornadoes don't usually form near the grand city of Chicago due to the skyline, and also I think the lake also has something to do with it.
Right.
They never
yeah.
really touched down. We had tornado warnings, but they were never like in my town
Gotcha.
or in the near town. There was no significant tornado damage in my lifetime anywhere in the Chicago area that I am aware of.
Okay. So with the movie Twister,
That takes place in like Kansas.
yeah, but do you have like I'm wondering if you would have more of an attachment or an affinity.
I mean,
for
like
that
it was
than
that
I
movie
would.
was a little more scary as a kid. Could be like, oh man, tornadoes happen here all the time. It's like it could happen. This could happen to me.
Gotcha.
I could be in the basement and have my dad get sucked away into a twister.
And then you could grow up to be a cool ass tornado chasing dude.
In that movie, did the dad pull a Man of Steel? Did he save the dog and then get sucked away by a twister?
I don't remember anything about a dog. I think only Clark Kent's dad was that foolish. Was it a dog? I don't know.
In Man of Steel, it was a dog. I don't remember what happens in the first scene of Twister. Either way, the twister eats Helen Hunt's dad because that's what twisters do.
Clark Kent's dad in Man of Steel, I feel like that guy just suffered from like some sort of depression for just years and years and years. And here's this chance for him to save the dog.
Well, I think it's like he's been looking for a way out.
That's what I mean. It's like he just didn't like his life.
That would be a really hilarious and also like darkly twisted Coen Brothers hilarious thing that they had in like Man of Steel 2 or whenever the fuck that comes out. Ghost Dad shows up again and he's like, oh, by the way, I just wanted to die.
Well, there was Ghost Dad in what? Batman v
yeah, that's
Superman,
what I'm saying. Ghost
right?
Dad shows up again.
Oh yeah, that's right. So have him show up again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have Jarrell doing that shit.
They both show up and then Jor-El and Ghost Dad got a fight. Ghost fight.
Well, like Jarrell died doing something, I don't really know what he was doing.
He died doing what he loved.
Saving a codex or something?
Shooting rockets off.
Whatever the fuck. What? Okay, in Man of Steel, the first scene where they grab like a skull or a bone or something, and they send it with Clark Kent.
They like inject it into Clark Kent.
Right. This is weird.
It's an interesting wrinkle that doesn't really work because they don't do enough with it.
Yeah. It really confused me, that whole thing.
I like the idea of like, the Superman mythos, everyone knows it, but it's like, let's add an extra wrinkle of making it so, Superman is like part of this caste society, but he's the first one who can choose his own destiny. It's like, ooh, that's fun. Right? But they kind of just like, oh, you can choose your own destiny, and I guess that's it. I don't know. It was a little, again, yeah, it didn't really come to much.
Yeah. I mean, we could swim in the same circles about Man of Steel, but the truth be told, we're hot on the heels of Aquaman.
Not on the heels, we're in the head of Aquaman. To be on the heels of something, you have to be behind it. Like, it has to have happened, right?
Oh, that's true. Okay, so we're hot in the head.
Yeah.
We're hot on the head of Aquaman.
Aquaman Man comes out in over a month and a half.
Right, so...
I saw it today. James Wan said the movie's done. Gone gold. Cut, print, lock, picture lock, sound lock.
Okay.
Effects lock. Everything's done.
I think this is how the movie's going to play out. It's going to be Aquaman and his brother, and they're going to be like friends at the beginning. And then Aquaman's going to fight Black Manta, and then Black Manta's going to reveal that his brother sent him, and then he's going to have to fight his brother.
I think what's going to happen is Aquaman doesn't even know his brother, and he's just going to have to fight him right away. In what we call an ass whooping.
Call that an ass whooping. See, Aquaman is a little bit weird for me. So Aquaman is a superhero.
Yeah.
So does he he protects the sea from human stuff? Is that his thing?
I think he does both. I think he protects the sea from the land and the land from the sea.
So he's sort of like on everybody's team.
He's a superhero. Yeah, he's pro-human.
Is he pro-human?
Or just pro? He's just a good. He's just a good guy.
Well, here's the thing.
Just a nice guy. Just a good guy.
Namor makes sense to me because Namor is a fucking asshole.
When's he coming to the MCU?
Well, he's technically a mutant, so it's still Fox property.
Well, I thought he actually wasn't he licensed to Universal for a time though.
I'm maybe. Here's the thing. Don't make a Namor movie because it would be bad.
No, like just have him show up and like we had to go to Atlantis or whatever their version of Atlantis is to talk to this asshole, and he's like, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Namor is notoriously an asshole. Mm-hmm. I know his origin. He's like one of the oldest superheroes ever. He was that was a part of the whole Captain America. He
was fighting Nazis.
Yeah, he was fighting Nazis.
I guess it doesn't make him a real mutant though, and that's probably why the rights get all fuzzy because he's a mutant now, but like he's not like.
Yeah, he's retroactively a mutant.
It's the same way that Scarlet Witch, etc.
Right. So Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, did they start off not as mutants?
I don't know.
And then later were Magneto's kids?
It's possible. All I know is that Quicksilver is dead and Scarlet Witch is getting her own TV show.
Which, I don't know if they need that. I don't know if she needs one.
Same
with Loki. Whatever. Tom Hiddleston's not going to be Loki, right?
I don't know what he's up to. He might.
Okay.
I just want to watch The Mandalorian. That's all I care about.
All right.
Watching The Mandalorian. Oh man, did you see that? The Mandalorian's got a super sweet weapon. His weapon's the same weapon that Boba Fett had in the animated Star Wars holiday special. Isn't that super cool?
Really?
Yes.
Is that a thing?
It is, and it makes me. It warms my cold heart to see stuff like that.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, good for that.
Yep.
When does The Mandalorian come out again?
Probably next year sometime.
Okay, I want to see some trailers for that shit.
It's filming right now.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
So,
you can't...
hey, cut that together.
Oh, sorry.
Cut it together. Cut it out. Get down to business.
They still haven't announced the cast, though. I wonder if they're still formulating it.
I don't know, man. I mean, here's the thing. It's gonna be fun. hopefully. Do we even know what network it's going to be
It's on Disney streaming service.
Oh, yeah.
Disney Kablam, or whatever it's going to be called. It's
Disney
not going to be called. It's not
Kablamo?
called that.
I would love if it was called Kablamo. If I could go into work every day and talk to my friends about the kind of programming that I watched on Kablamo last night.
Speaking of Kablamo, in a sense, Netflix is doing good, man. They are releasing 3 of their movies in theaters, and it makes me happy.
Really? Which 3?
The Coen Brothers' new movie, Roma,
good.
and Bird Box.
What the hell's Bird Box?
Oh man, you haven't heard of Bird Box? No one's heard of Bird Box.
Oh, wait.
Well, the people who read the book will probably. It's basically, you know how a quiet place you can't make noise. In Bird Box, you can't make sound or can't make seeing.
You can't make what?
You can't make seeing in Bird Box. It's something that's like aliens invade the world, except these aliens, if you look at them, you like go crazy and you slit your wrists.
Okay.
And so you got to wear blindfolds. That's all I know about it. It's got Sandy Bullock. I may have done some spec work on it a long time ago, and it probably didn't get picked up.
Sandy Bullet. What else? What about the Martin Scorsese
Well, that doesn't come out this year
Italiano
or next year, whenever that comes out.
Italiano
That ain't
movie?
coming out anytime soon that I'm
I feel
aware
like
of.
I heard about that movie like 2 years ago from
It's
you.
been well, also because it's like cost $150 million, and they're doing like Marvel face replacement on all the main actors.
Oh my god!
To like have them age throughout the
okay.
years.
I thought they were just taking their slow, sweet time with it because it's just a bunch of oldies.
You got your Joe Pesci coming back with a big screen ? Hopefully. Either way, I'm very excited because I heard that Coen Brothers' new movie is very good, and Roma is supposed to be the best movie of the year, and I'm very excited about seeing that.
Roma.
Alfonso Cuarón's triumphant return to the big screen after Gravity,
That's right.
which was what,
That
4
was a
years ago?
long, oof,
3?
Probably more.
5?
than-
5 years ago? 2013?
2013,
Yeah.
probably. Wow. So he hasn't made a movie since then?
He's been
Jesus.
I don't know what he's been up to, but no, he's been making. Now he's got one.
He's probably just at home raising his kids. Maybe he's just spending some time with his kids.
Man, these directors, these Guillermo del Toro's and Alfonso Cuarón's and Iñárritu's, they just own Hollywood.
Yeah.
The sort of pop art scene, if you will.
Keep pumping it out. I'll throw money at that. I'll throw money at that shit.
I mean, they've all won Best Director, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Cuarón won Best Director for Gravity, right?
Did he?
What was 2013? That was
I don't know.
Argo.
I don't know.
Was it
Argo's
2012?
before that.
Oh, that's
Argo's like 2012.
Man, I used to be
probably.
so good at remembering things and when they happened. The last like 3 years, my brain's
Well,
melted.
let's check. Are we sure that Gravity won for Best Director though?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, we're checking it out. That's what we do here on the
Yeah.
Filmtastic Voyage. We fact check and we never talk out of our ass.
So, question for you: what did you think of Gravity? And people seem to be polarized about it.
I loved Gravity, and I thought people who didn't like it were like barking up the wrong tree.
Wow. So this one, Academy Award for Best Director
Yeah,
for
when-
2014.
14. Well, was it the 2014 Academy Awards or those
Yes.
Academy Awards for
For
2014?
2013. Okay.
Okay.
And then Academy Award for Best Original Music Score. Yeah, it was good. Best Cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
Best Visual Effects. Damn, I didn't realize it was such a runaway hit.
Gravity's amazing. I love
I
Gravity.
mean, I loved it. Yeah, it was great.
Did you ever see First Man yet?
I did.
Oh.
Actually, I was going to bring that up.
First Man's super good. Did you see it in the big theater?
I did.
Oh, it's so good in the big theater.
On your recommendation.
I hope it was worth it.
So, hey, you want to go round deux on talking First Man? I have some stuff to say about First
Yeah,
Man.
fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, right.
Very enjoyable movie. I put it at my second favorite, whatever that guy's name is, movies.
Well, above La La Land, I assume.
What's the guy's name?
Damien Chazelle.
Oh, yeah, Damien Chazelle. Yes. So Whiplash at the top. Loved Whiplash. And then this movie, and then La La
I
Land.
might go La La Land, Whiplash, this movie.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Well, here's the thing.
They're all different. It's hard to say.
I think they don't do any favors calling the movie First Man. I think Like when I told people I was watching First Man, no one knew what the fuck I was talking about.
What, you mean that claymation movie?
It sounds like it's like a Tim Allen vehicle. Like, hey, I'm the first man or something. Or,
Well, I mean, there's also there's Early Man that came out earlier this year, right?
Oh,
Like some
right.
kind of, or is that movie about that dog? The creation of dogs,
oh yeah, what was that called?
Alpha.
Alpha. That's right.
Movie surprisingly not terrible. Like I've heard.
Huh.
Like remember, it got delayed like 2 years, and usually when that happens, it's like, well, that usually means it's nothing good. But like it came out, it has like 80% Rotten Tomatoes or something, and people are like,
Wow.
yeah, it's not bad.
Damn.
It's like, whoa.
Sleeper hit. So First Man, everybody, is about Neil Armstrong, the mysterious first man that landed on the
It
moon.
doesn't seem that mysterious. I'm sure he's well documented.
He's not though. He famously didn't do very many interviews at all.
Well, just because you're not interviewed doesn't mean that you're,
Well, what I mean is like Buzz Aldrin, like I get this feeling that Buzz Aldrin just woke up every day, walked around. He would go to the grocery store every day and just stop people in aisles and be like, "Hey, I was on the moon." Like I feel like that's Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, well, in the movie especially, like he really comes
Yeah.
across as that kind of person, which is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they made him look like a jerk in the movie.
Well, it's because I'm sure, like, no offense to Buzz Aldrin, he's a national hero, but I'm sure he's a bit prickly.
Yeah. Yeah, but Neil Armstrong sort of is just this dude that like did this thing and then just,
He's just he's an engineer. He just wants to do his work.
yeah. And they made him seem like he lived a very sad life.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know,
I'm curious about if that one thing in the movie is true.
with the bracelet,
Yeah.
probably not. It's more symbolic. I bet it's symbolic.
Okay. That was, okay. So here's the thing. The movie is not. I'm not like head over heels for this movie, but I will say it had some very great moments. And I would say that the third act, and for anybody who doesn't know, they do land on the moon, which I'm sure everybody would assume, but that scene was pretty damn beautiful. That was
I
a
thought
beautiful
all the
scene.
space stuff was some of the best space stuff I've seen since Gravity.
Yeah.
Speaking of Gravity, I'm trying to think, there was a space movie in was it Martian? No, Martian came out in what? No, it was 2015. What was the space movie of 2014? Interstellar, that was it.
Oh right.
Yeah, best space movie since Gravity.
Yeah.
I like this movie better than Interstellar and Martian. Yes.
I mean, honestly, I think the farther we get from Interstellar, I think it's going to just turn into a nothing movie that people don't really talk about.
I never really I was kind of lukewarm in it when it came
Yeah.
out. Therefore, I'm ahead of the curve.
I saw it the one time and I was just like,
I saw it twice because I was invited to see it a second time, and it's a movie that while you're watching it is very engaging and good, and then when
Yeah.
it's done, it's like, okay,
right.
that was that.
Which is weird, man. It used to be that Nolan movies were like a big deal for me, and ever since I guess like Interstellar and Dunkirk both of those were like, well, these were enjoyable, and then I just go away and I forget them.
I really liked Dunkirk, but it's similar. It was sort of like I don't plan on ever revisiting it.
Yeah.
Interstellar to me, and I talked about before, was Nolan at his Nolanist, and that it was like him showing his hand, sort of like he was like, I've seen your bag of tricks through like 3 or 4 movies, and now it's like I know all your tricks, so you
Right.
can't really surprise me.
Yeah.
And also because Nolan is famously not a very emotional storyteller.
yeah.
And like a couple of moments do hit in that movie, but for the most part, his emotional storytelling is still very robotic.
Totally. Well, and you can actually, I feel at least, you can tell when he stopped working with Jonah Nolan. I sort of feel like there was a difference.
Now he's on doing Westworld,
Yeah, now he's off doing Westworld.
which
But,
people are pleased with. People like that show.
The first season, I thought a lot of people were really down with the first season. A lot of people were going nuts over the first season.
Yeah, there was that. I remember hearing for season 2, people were like, "Oh, it sucks," but then when it ended, people were like, "No, actually, it was pretty great." So I've heard. Well, then, but people also don't. I don't know what people think about it.
It was okay. Second season was okay. I'm not going to sit here and say I hated it because it's not hateable. It just is. It like, a lot of times with shows or like with movies too, it's like you get this first thing that's like just amazing, right? And then you get the follow-up to it that is not bad, but it just sort of is the superficial kind of like it fades into mediocrity, right?
Yeah, this is what I don't like. It's one of the many reasons I ideologically don't like television, just because I don't like wasting my time. And it's like, oh man, this first season was so good, I guess I'll keep watching it. And then like, by season 3 it devolves into bad and I stop watching it. It's like, well, what did I watch these first few seasons for? The story's not over for me. Like, the story's going to continue, but I don't care. I shouldn't have watched that first season. And I've wasted all this time.
Yeah, I agree. But it depends. For me, it also depends on the plan. Like, I think with Westworld, you can tell that maybe they didn't know if they're going to have a second season. That's what I feel. I feel like the first season came out, and then it was like a year and a half of them trying to figure out what the second season would be. And then the second season came out, and it was like, well, this was sort of unnecessary.
I heard it was just sort of like confusing for the sake of confusing.
Yes,
it was
absolutely.
Like people liked all the this, that, and the other thing in the first season, so let's throw them a bone and make it extra weird.
Yes, and it's also post rising to fame Tessa Thompson, who was like arguably like an interesting character in the first season, but not like a main character in the first season. And then the second season, they just like sort of pushed her to the forefront.
See, this is one of the reasons why Parks and Rec is one of the best shows ever made, because Chris Pratt left to do Guardians of the Galaxy,
right,
came back, and was still a supporting character.
Yeah. I liked what they did in the show, too, to explain his weight loss.
He just stopped drinking beer.
He just stopped drinking beer, yeah.
He went to London and stopped drinking beer, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's important. It's and I think Westworld sort of got affected by, for one, it was a smash hit the first season, and so they really need to follow it up with something, and then it got sort of too big for its britches.
A victim of his own success, they call that.
Yeah.
I have heard, in a similar vein, that House of Cards' most recent season is real bad.
I happened to read someone mentioned that they started watching season 6, and then a lot of people were commenting on it, and they're like, yeah, I'm 5 episodes in, I'm 6 episodes in, I'm blah, 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 and it's just not as great. So I don't know.
It's like one of those things, like, people, like the first, 2-ish seasons were like, super, super great television, goddamn. Same with like most Netflix shows. And then after that, it just like, it just fizzles out.
Yep.
Which is what it's the same thing. It's just like, man, like why I don't want to become invested in this stuff. That's just, if it's just gonna, overstay its welcome and not get there. It's like, I like things, I know it's different and all that stuff. And I'm not saying people who like TV are wrong. I just, that's why I like movies. It's like movies are a package. And like they get there or they don't. And I don't get strung along for years.
Right.
Only to not get there in the end.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. But also with movies, like I feel like it kind of depends too.
Yeah. There are, obviously, there's lots of, like, there are shows where that stay consistent the whole way through. BoJack Horseman so far, like, I really want that show to end, so it will just end and be great the whole time, I don't want.
But hey, season 5 is pretty great, man.
It is, and that's why I hope just end it. Just season 6, just end it.
I get this feeling with BoJack Horseman that they could probably just keep going and they'll maintain, unless they replace like all their writers or something. But I get the feeling they could just maintain that tone.
They shouldn't just end it. Just like have an ending.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't even have to be it can be ambiguous. Just like, this is the end.
It'll come eventually.
Well, I want it to come now, so the show is like, so it's like, this is like one of the best shows ever, as opposed to like, this show was great for like 7 seasons, and then it had like 3 really bad seasons.
Right, yeah. Which, it's unfortunate. And you're right. Like, I think most TV sort of falls prey to that. Like, most TV, the way it works is they'll be like, hey, ratings are high, things are going good, so we're just going to keep going until ratings get low, and then the network cancels us.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Or Breaking Bad ended on a high note in that way.
Well, and I think with Breaking Bad, it was sort of like they were very careful about having a plan. Breaking Bad could have gone 10 or 15 seasons, like no joke. Like, it could have gone for twice as long as it did.
15 seasons? No show goes for 15 seasons.
Not Walking Dead, but...
Well, shows can, but, like, first of all, no one gives a shit about Walking Dead anymore. And now they announced they're making 3 movies, which is like, what?
Yeah.
And then...
I mean, Walking Dead's losing its main star. But
Well, no, it's because he's going to make 3 fucking movies.
about Walking Dead?
Yeah, he's making.
Oh my
God!
God.
They plucked him from the television show and they put him in. They put him in on the silver screen apparently.
Fuck that
Like, don't announce 3 movies right away. You only like
Do
Star Wars is
one,
allowed to do
yeah.
that, or Harry Potter, or something that is a franchise. You know.
But AMC announced at some point that I don't know if this is true still, but they were like, "Oh yeah, with Walking Dead, we want to go like 12 seasons."
I
or
know
something.
they're gonna. I think they said we're gonna go for as long as we're good, until the show dies.
Yeah.
And then they got their spin-off show that no one likes. Like nobody I know likes that show.
Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know how that's still going. It's. I tried watching it. I tried getting into it. I'm like, okay, this is bad right now, but I'm gonna keep going. And then I didn't even make it to the second season. I had to stop because it was just. And I hate to say this, but it's just a worthless show.
I mean, like. The Walking Dead, even though, like I say, no one likes it, it's like the World of Warcraft of television, where it's like at its peak, it was the thing, and even now, it's higher. It draws more viewers than any other show.
Yeah, it's weird.
Even though it's like lost half of its viewers.
But that's the thing. It's like with me though, I'm watching. Okay. It might be Walking Dead, but I feel like I'm watching Dead because it's just so boring.
I've told the story before, and I'll say it again. Watched the pilot, said that was cool, that was all right, I guess, and then everyone was like, "Yeah, it's basically the best it gets," and I'm like, "Great," and I never watched a second of it after that.
Because Walking Dead falls into the same old boring, old trope that all zombie apocalypse stories fall into, where it's just oh, now it's tribal warfare against humans, and there's just like zombies over here for a bit, and then it's tribal warfare against other humans, and then there's just like some zombies. And then there's tribal warfare against another human tribe. Yeah, and then there's just like zombies. It's never like you have zombies, and I get it. Like there's gonna be other human factions, but dude, you gotta loop that shit back around every once in a while. You gotta make it about zombies again. You gotta like add to the lore and the mystery of the zombies. You can't just keep relying on like villains. I don't know. It's
You know what I want to see? I want to see a show, like a miniseries or a show or whatever. Maybe I'd watch it even. About, it's like a zombie apocalypse that's happened. Like, not like Society Falls happened, but like Resident Evil style, if you will. Like cities are taken over and stuff, but the governments are still around. And it's happens, it's taken care of. And I want to see a courtroom drama about who the fuck's responsible for this colossal fuck up. Is it like the government, like, is it people in the government? Is it like the pharmaceutical companies or whoever's responsible? Like, I just want to see like these hard-hitting lawyers, slamming their fists on tables and like throwing fingers around and being like, accusing people of stuff.
It's like To Kill a Mockingbird, except with, with zombies.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Because here's the thing, realistically, and whatever, maybe some people will disagree with this. I want to hear if people disagree with this. Our beloved fans that leave us awesome comments. I feel like if there was a zombie apocalypse, realistically, governments would stamp that shit out immediately. Like the military or whoever needed to be there, they would basically stamp that shit out. They would quarantine whatever area this is in. They would destroy whatever the zombies were, and it would be over in like a few days.
That's why I say Resident Evil style. In Resident Evil 2/3, Raccoon City gets taken over by zombies, and the government's like, nuke it.
Right.
And they nuke the city. And that's it.
And that's it.
I mean, like, not really, because like there's stupid outbreaks that happen all over that game series, and then they rebooted it, or did they? I don't know. Who cares? But the point of the matter is, done and done.
Yeah, that's what would happen. There's none of this like zombie apocalypse spanning over 10 seasons. But whatever.
But what if the zombies take over the military first, and then you got zombies and tanks?
Yeah. Could a zombie drive a tank?
No, but I'm just... It's like that's the only credible, like a zombie army, like an armed zombie army.
They'd have to be smart zombies. They'd have to be... it would have to be like I Am Legend, vampire, zombie, whatever those things were. Where they're actually, like, thinking instead of just eating brains. That's what it would have to be. But yeah, I don't know. I want someone to do something interesting with zombies. I feel like there's some interesting shit you could do with zombies that people haven't done.
Yeah, there is, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of shows, though, I've actually watched some shows. Even
Really?
though I famously never watch shows, but I've watched 2 shows.
What shows are those?
Yes, 2. One of which I don't know if it's ever going to get more than 1 season. The other one, I'm adding to my my list of shows. The first one is this charming as fuck show called Hilda on Netflix.
Oh.
It's got some gorgeous art style and amazing animation and production quality for a TV show. Like, I find it funny because that show came out about the same time that the Dragon Prince show came out. That from the creators, not the writers of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that show has like animation on like 4s, but CG, and it gives me anxiety. I cannot watch that.
Huh.
On the other hand, though, this other show, it's got like fluid as fuck, like 24 frames per second. Probably not, but like it's great. It's like super great animation, colorful, it's fun, very relaxing, super charming. Would highly recommend it. I
know what you're talking about. Yeah, that does look good. You said it's called Hilda?
Hilda. It's just like a fun, like, it's not like, oh man, I'm going to binge watch the fuck out of this. It's like, oh, I feel like killing some time. I'm going to watch this cute cartoon, and relax.
And it's really nice looking.
Slip it in my PJs and drink some coffee or some hot cocoa or whatever. It's very fun. I recommend it highly. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, this show is now added to my list of shows. Castlevania.
Really?
I watched the first season, which is 4 episodes long, last year, because a friend of mine who you met, actually, was like, let's watch this show. And I'm like, I guess. And I enjoyed it. But this season 2, which just came out, it's twice as long. It's 8 episodes. The first half, pretty good. But the second half has some fucking awesome vampire action shit going on, man.
Yeah?
And the characters really won me over, and I'm really looking forward to season 3.
Wow. Well, cool.
The problem with that season, I'll kind of get into minor spoilers, very, very minor, is that the first half of season 2, the main characters from season 1 are kind of on the back burner, and like you kind of hang out with Dracula and his, stupid horde of idiots, and like they're like playing the Game of Thrones and whatever. And like that's kind of interesting and all, but it could have been cut in half, and you wouldn't have lost anything.
I see.
Because there's a lot of like wasting time in a sense. Like like these characters are all gonna either get what they want or die or whatever. Like their plans are all gonna go into motion. You don't need to have multiple scenes of them essentially explaining themselves to each other in different rooms.
Uh-huh.
And then also there's a couple of like not necessarily out of place, but totally egregious flashbacks or scenes of vampires just like mowing through towns and ripping people in half.
Oh, shit.
Where it's just like, this is fun and all, but like it has nothing to do with the story.
Right. Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, like one episode starts where like these vampires are like, I'm hungry. Let's go to town and kill some people. And then for like the next 3 minutes, they're just like, they're like busting through walls and like ripping heads off and stuff.
Is it
it's
like
super gory.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Like people get lots of things get smashed in and ripped off and cut in half and disemboweled.
Huh. Well,
and I think this show has some of the best use of like magic I've seen in a long time. Like there's a magician character and she's super cool and like the way her magic works, it looks awesome.
Oh.
So it's a visual feast. Would recommend highly if you don't mind like over the top gothic disgusting gory horror stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of waxing poetic on like mankind and the evils of man or whatever.
Oh, well, I guess I could do with some of that, you gotta wax sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I've never had much of an interest in like Castlevania, but I don't know. I mean, it's one thing to say that about a video game. I guess it's another completely different thing to say that about a show, right?
Well, the show has nothing to do with the game series. There's like barely any story in those series. The story in Castlevania, every game is Dracula shows up. You got to go into his castle and kill him. And you do. And then like 100 years later, it's like Dracula shows up again. I don't know why. Just do it again, except this time you're a different Belmont.
Right.
I played like 6 of those games, maybe more. And it's one of those things where it's like you don't realize you're a fan of the series until like you do.
Until you're 6 games in.
Until you're like, well, it's like,
oh shit, what happened to my life?
Well, it's like I was watching this show and it's like, Holy fuck! I played like so many Castlevania games. I never even considered myself a Castlevania fan, but I guess I am.
Yeah. Well, at my last place, my roommate played a lot of Castlevania for a while. I'd be walking around, it's like I'd walk in on him playing Castlevania for
I'm so sorry.
for ages. And it seemed like it was like good old gaming fun.
Yeah, I played like Castlevania 4. I played Symphony of the Night. I played all the ones on the Game Boy Advance and the DS. I played Lords of Shadow, which is really fun.
When was the last Castlevania game?
Well, Lords of Shadow 2 might have been. That one wasn't that good, though, I hear it. I didn't get it.
And has it always been side-scroller, or have they had...
No, Lords of Shadow is like a God of War kind of clone.
Oh. Like third-person kind of stuff?
Castlevania 64 is famously bad for just being a bad third-person action game. With like really terrible like fog of war, because back in the old days in the N64, kids might not remember this. If you're a kid listening to this, why would you be? N64 games had horrific fog because they couldn't load things in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, N64 did what it could, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was for the time. It was. I was impressed, but you look back at it now, and it's like, oh, this is like the equivalent to dial-up internet, or like the first phone.
I mean, yeah, most games control like ass.
A rotary phone.
That's the thing. If they made like there's like the Super Nintendo Mini, right?
Oh yeah.
If they made an N64 Mini, they might. Do you think they'd have to like update the controls on every game, because like N64 games you can't play them nowadays. Like you can't play GoldenEye. Like it's like so counterintuitive.
Really?
Well, it's like that. Like because like for like a first-person shooter, like now you have two sticks, but to play a first-person shooter with just with one joystick,
oh right,
it's just like what am I doing?
That's right.
And like they couldn't like even like Time Splitters 2 couldn't figure out how to do first-person shooters, even though I had two sticks. Because I remember going back and replaying that game a while ago on the GameCube, and it's like you have to like hold down a trigger button to aim. It's like Halo figured it out like 2 years earlier,
Yeah. Methinks they'll never make a mini N64. I at least not in like a not anytime soon.
We'll see. I mean, I'm sure there's. What the real tragedy is, though, man? They can never re-release Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 because of all the music licenses.
Oh right, yeah.
Even though that was on the GameCube, but still,
I had some had some good music in there.
Mm-hmm.
Had
Guerrilla Radio.
Yeah, did that have "Fight Like a Brave" by Red Hot Chili Peppers? Fight like a brave.
I think one of the Tony Hawk games had like a lot of Kiss music and Gene Simmons in it.
Ugh.
Yeah, that series got kind of weird. Who was the secret character? Was it Darth Maul in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, or maybe it was
not 3. Maybe 3. I don't know. I know 2 was Spider-Man.
Was it Wolverine? It might have been Wolverine. 2 was Spider-Man, yeah.
2 was Spider-Man. Maybe Wolverine. I remember Wolverine, Spider-Man, Darth Maul. I don't know which order those were in, but...
Yeah, the Gene Simmons was one thing. It doesn't matter. That series is dead.
That's too bad.
Well, they're making... Well...
It was fun making your own course.
Is skateboarding as big as it once was?
No.
Yeah, I thought so.
Absolutely not.
I mean, there's that movie Mid-90s all about skateboarding, which I haven't seen, and I probably won't because I'm really busy right now.
With Jonah Hill?
Man, I gotta be so selective. Like... I wanted to see Bad Times at the El Royale and Old Man the Gun. Didn't get around to it because I got shanghaied into this super, super secret super project at work, and now I gotta like, crunch my hours and shit. And then like I had family visiting one weekend, and friends visiting the next weekend. I haven't seen any goddamn movies. And all the movies I wanted to see are now out of theaters, and then the only movies in theaters now are like mid-90s and like Can You Forgive Me? It's like movies are like, it's so heavy. I don't want to watch those. Movies about people being sad and living hard lives.
Yeah, I don't know. What was I going to say? Well, hey, Alex, sorry to hear that. But I get the feeling, you're still going to make it in time for some really good movies.
You know what movie I want to see? that nobody wants to see with me, but I kind of want to see it just because I feel like seeing something really dumb.
What's that?
I want to see the Nutcracker.
Dude, I know people that want to see it. I'll see it. Fuck it.
I just want to see something that's like colorful and like visual candy, and I don't have to think about it at all.
Yeah.
That sounds very appealing right now.
Hey, dude, I'm down. I'm down to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Just in regards of Jonah Hill, you know, we started watching Maniac with him and Emma Stone.
Yeah.
And it's real slow and real kind of, we don't know what to think about it.
Well, even though that director's doing Bond 25, so I should probably watch it just because.
Yeah. It's that's the same guy that did True Detective, right?
Yeah. And The Beasts of No Nation.
Oh, that's right.
Which is different from The Beasts of the Southern Wild.
That's right. Yeah, Maniac is I don't know, man. It's a weird slow series. It's a weird slow Netflix series.
I kind of like, is it like 70s sci-fi slow?
I don't know what that means.
Like well, it's like, you know, it's like 2001, it's in the 60s, but that's like kind of like Solaris or like
what it is they set up a plot device. They set up a way of telling this story that's just very like it's like a novelty. It's kind of like, oh, this is cool that it's such a novel idea, but it's just so like you don't even need to. So far, we feel. By me, I mean my girlfriend and I. It's
the
like
royal we.
Yeah, the royal we. Not me and like another voice in my head or something. Although that would be fun. It just gets into this weird novelty idea of telling this story. And it just seems so like extraneous and like it doesn't need to be there, you know. It's just like, oh, we just watched an hour-long episode, and what did we learn? Nothing. But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably finish it, but we'll see.
I'll check it out. I've heard good things about it, but I don't know. It seems like one of those shows where it's like that. I could imagine liking that, and then like, you know, I watch it and usually I do. Like Stranger Things was like that, where it's like,
fuck
yeah, I can imagine liking Stranger Things.
Stranger Things is a rarity, though. I mean, that's just like perfection. Like I don't know if you were to say like if you were to pick one Netflix show that you could keep around, what would it be?
Horseman.
BoJack Horseman.
Yes.
Me too. It's between that and Stranger Things, I think.
Oh, surely there's some other show on Netflix that I like more than Stranger Things.
I hear Daredevil season 3 is really good, but you haven't seen
any of them.
I
haven't seen a second of any Marvel shows because I've heard that Daredevil is the only show worth watching. Maybe Jessica Jones season 1.
Daredevil. Well, okay, I would say Daredevil. All of it, because it's all pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard like even season 2 is not as good, but not bad. Oh, and the Punishers. I've heard like the Punishers is either the best or worst Marvel show on Netflix.
I thought it was really good.
I've heard both. I've heard like both opinions.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it was really good. It's so between the two Punisher movies and the Punisher Netflix series, if you want to see the best version of the Punisher, it's the Netflix Punisher series. It is a low bar.
And there's also 3 Punisher movies, man.
Oh yeah, Dolph Lundgren. I haven't seen that one.
I haven't either, but I've heard it's really dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, that kind of reminds me of a movie I saw recently. Maybe I should save it for next episode, though.
I have some tricks up my sleeve for the next episode.
Maybe I'll blow it. I'll blow my load right now, just because I'm whatever. I saw a movie basically in the same vein, but probably much worse. One of the worst movies I've ever seen, maybe. I was bored and I watched this movie on Amazon Prime. Jean Claude Van Damme in Cyborg.
Oh.
Which is not about a cyborg and barely features any cyborgs. It's bullshit.
So it's not about a cyborg?
No, not really, no.
But
there's a cyborg in it.
Oh, okay.
But she's not really a character, and she doesn't really show up much, and she's not really the main point of the story.
Interesting.
What? The movie's not really about anything. It's literally an hour-long movie stretched down to 85 minutes. They show the same flashbacks 2 or 3 times a piece.
Huh.
It's just there's no story. I don't know. Like the character, there aren't. It's bad. It's really bad. It's badly edited. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing good about it. Not a single thing. Except, well, the only good thing about it is that, you know, some really hunky dudes, if you will.
Right.
So this like some, you know, some rippling muscles.
I mean, is it just your typical like Jean Claude Van Damme?
No,
movie?
your typical Jean Claude Van Damme movie is much, much better.
Really?
This is one of them Canon movies. You know Canon, like they're a famously now defunct trash peddling studio from like the 80s. Oh, they made such, like, they were famous for just making garbage, and then they tried to go legit with Master of the Universe and failed.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And this was apparently their last movie.
Wow.
They made like the Death Wish sequels where like Charles Bronson's like blowing up hippies and with like rocket launchers and shit. Or not hippies, but like, you know, like like, you know, the gangsters in like New York City looks like it's like the Detroit from RoboCop.
Right.
Like
yeah.
toxic ooze everywhere. Like that kind of like skeezy schmaltz or not schmaltz. What's the word I'm thinking of? Schlock. That's it.
Schlock. Yeah. Is it like Asylum kind of?
Essentially, that's like the Asylum back in the day, except they wouldn't rip things off. They would try to make cheap movies. They invented Electric Boogaloo. Watch that documentary. It's called Electric Boogaloo, The Story of Ken. Great movie. Super awesome, informative. Yeah, they just basically made like, you know, over-the-top action movies that were also maybe at the same time softcore porn.
Okay.
I
Gotcha.
think they had a couple of gems, but for the most part, just garbage. And this one was like, yeah, some of the most garbage I've ever garbaged.
Wow.
They like film on like, they're like obviously filming in like some abandoned building somewhere, and like they spend so much time just like filming the same. Like they spend like a minute just filming henchmen coming out of a manhole, and then they like cut to a different henchman coming out of that manhole, but it's like the same guy dressed in a different costume, obviously. Rinse and repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
And the main villain's got these contacts, and every time he takes off the sunglasses, the score goes like dun dun dun. It's like, yeah, we know. He's got these weird eyes. I don't know. It's terrible. It's really bad.
So what inspired you to watch this?
Because they've added a bunch of Jean Claude Van Damme movies to fucking Amazon Prime. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna watch these Jean Claude Van Damme movies. I watched what was the one where he plays twins? I forget the name of it already. Double Impact. Watch that one. Lionheart still have to watch. Especially because I watched Bloodsport first.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I'm just trying to get that high again. I'm just trying to get that Bloodsport high. I haven't yet to get it because Bloodsport's so fucking good and nothing comes close.
I still haven't seen Bloodsport.
Sudden Death, terrible. Kickboxer, no good.
Honestly, my only, I have actually a pretty limited scope of when it comes to Jean Claude Van Damme movies. Really, the only Jean Claude Van Damme movies I've seen is maybe like Street Fighter because I was a kid and I liked the game, and then what else? I don't even know. I
haven't seen Broken Arrow, but that's one.
Haven't seen Broken Arrow.
I gotta see that one.
Time
Cop, need to see that.
Haven't seen it.
You gotta see Time Cop.
I saw the one commercial where Jean Claude Van Damme is standing on two moving trucks, and then they start pulling apart, and he does the splits.
I mean, I haven't seen JCVD or that show he's on or was on. Jean Claude Van Johnson.
Oh.
I saw Expendables 2. He's great in that. That movie is great.
Oh, yeah.
Expendables 1 sucks. Expendables 2 is great. Haven't seen Expendables 3.
Oh, okay.
In Expendables 2, he kicks a knife into Liam Hemsworth's chest. It's great.
Right
into his heart. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen any of those movies.
Like, he has got a henchman, and he's like, a henchman's holding up a knife to Liam Hemsworth's heart, and Jean Claude Van Damme just roundhouse kicks it right into him. It's amazing.
What is Liam Hemsworth doing in there?
He's there to die.
He's not an action
He shows
star.
up in the first. He's like, I'm part of the Expendables now. Gee whiz, fellas. I have a wife. And then he gets killed immediately.
Whenever a character announces that they have a wife in an action movie, you know that they're gonna die.
Yeah. Or they're gonna save them from something.
Right.
If it's a secondary character, they did.
That's what I mean. A secondary character. Yeah.
Or a kid. Even
I read recently. Okay, back when I was a kid, there was Wizard magazine. I don't know if this still exists.
Wizard Annie.
But you know Wizard, right?
They're gone?
I don't know. Maybe they're around still. But it was like
who buys magazines anymore?
It was like a monthly magazine regarding comics.
I know. Yeah, I know it Wizard.
Right. So they had a X-Men casting
Oh,
in Wizard magazine.
oh, I can only imagine.
And this was back in the probably the mid 90s.
These are just like fucking bloggers back in the day, though. Essentially,
Yeah.
they're like modern day bloggers.
And I mean, obviously, they said Patrick Stewart for Xavier, naturally. They said Glenn Danzig for Wolverine, which almost happened. They said Rutger Hauer for Magneto.
That's actually not a bad choice.
That's actually a pretty cool ass casting right there.
You know, real quick aside, Rutger Hauer's in the Sisters Brothers as not in a non-speaking role. He looks through a window and that's it.
Interesting.
You look up from the street and he's in through a window. And he's like, and then like he goes back into his office. And at the end of the movie, it's like, and special appearance by Rutger Hauer. I'm like, what?
But then guess who they casted as Gambit?
Jean Claude Van Damme.
A then younger, 90s aged Jean Claude Van Damme.
Also, not a bad call, Jean Claude. Like that's 90s. If they made X-Men in the 90s, it'd be the perfect Gambit because he's already French, and he's got a bunch of kicks.
He does have a bunch of kicks. I'd be into that.
That's great casting.
Could you imagine Glenn Danzig and Jean-Claude Van Damme sharing the silver screen in a... Oh, and then they said for Cyclops, it would be the guy that was in Terminator. The
Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn, yeah. They said Michael Biehn for Cyclops.
Anyway, to answer your question, no, I can't because in mid-90s, Jean-Claude Van Damme was famously dickish and would not share the screen with anybody.
Well, including another giant dick, Glenn Danzig.
What was he famously dickish for?
Oh, Glenn Danzig is famously known as a hard to work with person, and that's I think why they didn't cast him as Wolverine.
What's this called? A claim to fame? I can't picture the face.
He's the singer. Well, he was the singer of the Misfits, and then the Misfits kicked him out, and then he did his solo career, and then they got another singer for a while, and then their bassist was their singer for a while.
Wait, why would you cast a musician as Wolverine?
I don't know.
Well, whatever.
I don't know. They tried casting him, and then
casting.
something happened. Maybe they found out that he couldn't act. I don't know. And then, like, they casted Hugh Jackman, and then Glenn Danzig said some bad things about Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It's
Sounds dumb.
He was he was a guest star in Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I don't know if you ever watched that show. But
No, I was a little young for it.
they had Danzig in an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and after they made it, he looked at it and he's like, "You got to make me taller." So then they had to go back and make him taller in every single shot that he was in. And then there's a famous video where he's like talking shit to somebody, and then they just punch him in the face, and then he just is knocked out immediately. Which is another fun video. Anyways,
the internet.
he's a fun singer. Hey, he's a fun singer. But yeah, the webs we weave.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I came across that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I mean, speaking of X-Men, you saw a movie from the director of X-Men, did you not?
Yeah, I'm gonna save that for next
Okay.
episode.
Cool.
I think that'll be a nice like launching into something real deep for everybody. I watched Bohemian Rhapsody this last weekend, but I'm gonna talk about it next time. Yeah,
Stay tuned.
stay tuned because that's boy, that's sure an onion to peel. That flick.
I have something real quick I could say, I guess.
Sure.
But like, I'm not going to talk about it in depth just because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Because I want to spoil it. I had the opportunity to see Wreck-It Ralph 2
Oh shit! You
last
saw
week, and all I'm going to say about it is go see it.
that? Okay, I will. I'm sure it's very good. Yeah. Who's I saw a trailer for that recently, and I noticed there was, they announced more, or they showcased more of the cast in that movie. I'm trying to remember who else is in that movie right now.
Well, I will say one of the actors who's in it was Alfred Molina, and he happened to be at the place I was at.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging out with Dr. Octopus himself.
That's right, yeah.
That was fun. Anyways, like the not from the original cast. You've seen the first Wreck-It Ralph, I assume.
Yeah. This new one, it has Gal Gadot.
Gadot.
Gadot, okay.
Gal Gadot and Bill Hader's in it. briefly, and someone else who I can't remember now. That's basically it. There's not much of a new cast.
Right on. Well, there's some people, but
Yeah, but like, there's not many big new characters, if I recall.
right.
It's more just the main characters get into hijinks, you know.
Yeah.
Excellent visuals, also real thrilling sequences.
Well, how many years has it been since the last one?
6.
6 years.
I mean, the
damn.
director did Zootopia. Rich Moore did Zootopia.
Gotcha. So that's cool. Yeah, I imagine. Whenever there's a little bit of a time jump, right? Whenever there's a little bit of a couple of years in between there, a few years in between, there's a nice crisp, upgrade to all the visuals.
Yeah, well, also, this fun fact, this is Disney's first sequel since The Rescuers Down Under.
Really?
First theatrical sequel.
First, like Disney Studios sequel.
Yeah, first Disney Studios first sequel since the Rescuers Down Under.
Gotcha. Because, I mean, there is an extremely goofy movie, all right?
No, those are Disney Toon Studios, which actually just went out of business.
Really?
Not out of business, was shuttered, I guess, if you will.
Wow.
They were working on something. I think they were like working on those Planes movies, but like I don't know what happened. I guess
That well ran dry.
yeah, it's a real shame though. People liked it. Like I'm sure a lot of talented folks worked at that studio.
I mean, they should have done a Trains next.
First,
then you could
Thomas
have
the
a-
Train Engine has that market locked down.
But
though.
you could have a Planes, Trains, and Automobile connected universe, you know?
Yeah.
And then you could have like Thanos. You could have the equivalent of Thanos, which would be like what kind of vehicle?
I don't know. He's got like a chair.
A barge, a prison barge, or
Either way, no. You make a shot-for-shot remake of Top Gun with jets,
oh, okay.
and you get Danger Zone blaring, all that fun stuff.
Okay, Top Gun.
Oh, actually, better idea.
Yes.
Trains, right? But it's a murder mystery. Murder of the Orient Express.
But it's like wait, so who would it be? People in the
No,
train?
the Murder Orient Express has been murdered, and we have to find out who done
the
it.
train's been murdered, and then okay, so the train's been murdered,
Yes.
and then the trains now are trying to figure out how.
Well, cars could be figuring out who killed the train, I suppose. You get the little Poirot car
Okay.
with its large mustache. He'd be
Yeah.
some kind of, European Beetle type small car or something. Because, the Cars universe runs on stereotypes.
Well, Poirot is, he's kind of dainty. He's a dainty man.
He likes his eggs just so.
Yeah. Now, did you ever see the TV version of Poirot?
No, I've only ever seen...
Because that's my Poirot.
I've only ever seen both of the... I've only seen the Albert Finney and the new movie.
Who's Albert Finney?
In the Sidney Lumet's Murder in the Orient Express.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, speaking of Sidney Lumet, I also read a book. I read Making Movies by Sidney Lumet. Lumet?
Really?
I forget how to say his name. Yeah, great book. It was written in the 90s, I think, late 80s. I don't know. It's basically him talking about his process, making movies, sharing stories, talking about how great of a guy Paul Newman is. Fun stuff. It's really cool. It's just like, a great director talking about his craft. Would recommend. Pretty
That's
breezy
cool.
read. Just kind of going through the steps. He and in the last chapter he just like goes on and on about how focus groups are fucking bullshit.
I mean, easier said than done, right?
Well, he just like goes on. It's like you focus test a movie to shit, and they cut it to ribbons to appease people, and it does badly. Then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I don't know. Do we ever hear about when it works, though? Right? Like, do we ever hear about when that works?
Like it works sometimes. I've heard like they changed the ending to A Fish Called Wanda for that. It worked. They changed the ending to Fatal Attraction, and that worked. And I think he actually mentioned that in the book too. He's like, they always take these one things and they always say this is why it works, but it doesn't work more often than not, or whatever.
Gotcha.
And also like, he talks about also how like the statistics involved are like the statisticians like are even like are front being like none of this stuff actually means anything.
No, it doesn't. How do you even control it? Yeah, it's like you can't. And here's the thing: you can market test something, and then 3 months later, 6 months later, those same people could feel a different way about something, right?
Yeah. Interestingly, I've heard that there's like a town in like Arizona where like one of the studios goes to test all their movies that haven't come out yet, but it's like the same town every year. Or
Huh.
every movie. It's like some rando town in Arizona that I guess has like the best like quadrant cross section of people and denominations and genders
Interesting.
and races and all that stuff. I guess, you know.
I mean, that would make more sense than, let's say, a place like California, right? You're not gonna get a good cross section of the entire country's demographic with a state like California that seems to be so specific about our tastes.
Maybe.
right?
I mean, there's towns in California. I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
You got the big cities, and it's not so hard to find that kind of place.
Going
Actually,
to-
it's kind of funny. It's the same town every year, though.
yeah.
That's what thing I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how that was set up.
Man, I know like those folks outside the AMC is always trying to like, hey, you want to see a preview for your free movie?
I always feel bad.
No, I do not. I do not want to see an unfinished film, sir.
Yeah, because then once you see that same film later on, you're going to be like, huh, I remember this as being not as great.
Well, I liked it when that scene. I can't believe they cut it. Or also, even worse, it's like I watched this movie, but then half the scenes were storyboards, which happens sometimes.
Right, yeah.
It's like I would not watch. There's no movie I would watch early in a pre-finished state. Not Star Wars, not James Bond, nothing.
I mean, if it was a movie that I gave like 0 fucks about, maybe.
No, I just want to see it fully realized.
I mean, if it was like Must Love Dogs 2,
Nope.
The Reckoning, Must Love Dogs 2, All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Well, also at the same time, if you're not seeing the theatrical cut, then I feel like I haven't even really seen the movie. You know, people will be like,
Well,
"Have you
yeah.
seen Must Love Dogs 2?" And I'd be like, "Maybe."
Well, okay. Would you feel better if, like, let's say you went to one of these things and that cut was horrible, right? And then later down the line, it's like they ask you for your feedback, you give your feedback, then later down the line, you see this movie again, and it's like fucking, it's like as good as like, Moonlight or 3 Billboards Outside of.
I would also know because the facade of filmmaking has been stripped.
Oh, okay.
You strip the veneer right off, and I can see the inner workings
Right. Yeah.
of how they didn't have a clue of what they were doing, and they were just scrambling in the dark, clawing in the dark, trying to make something work. And they
Yeah.
just got lucky.
Well, it's like, never meet your heroes, right?
I guess I've never met one of my heroes, so yes.
Like, let's say, well, no, never mind. This is my last random thought. I think I'm running out of random thoughts. Do you ever watch Joe Rogan Experience?
No.
I'm by any means, I'm not like this Joe Rogan enthusiast at all, but he had on Steven Tyler, the singer from Aerosmith.
How recently is this?
This is like really recently that he had Steven Tyler on. And of course, I'm not like a fan of Aerosmith really at all
I
either.
like Liv Tyler. She's fun.
Yeah, she seems perfectly sane. But her dad is like out of his fucking mind. Like, it was the strangest interview. Like, it would be like this, right? Go ahead and ask me how my day was.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Well, I was walking down the street and like, man, I've been like, for like 40 years, all right? Like, what the fuck? Like, for 40 years, all right? I've been doing this. And I keep these crystals, and they're like by my bed. And then like, it's like that, all right? So, okay, that's what it's like.
Kind of reminds me of a certain president of the United States and how he talks.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just disjointed and nonsense.
Right.
Um,
But I'm like, wow, that's what years and years of... Never mind, I'm not going to say it.
well, come on. Everyone knows what he's been up to. Anyways,
Yeah.
kind of that it's different strokes, but it reminds me of that time that Harrison Ford was visibly high on, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel or one of those shows.
Who was?
Harrison Ford.
Oh,
Where he was just like feeling the couch. He's like, ooh. You've seen those clips, right?
Maybe not. Maybe
well, if he
I
wasn't
haven't.
high, he was certainly acting like it. It was such a strange interview.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
And
I
Harrison
don't.
Ford's like a regular Neil Armstrong.
He is, yeah. I mean, I know back in the '80s he was sort of had his problems.
Oh yes.
I don't, and no one really knows anything about his personal life other than he flies a lot of planes.
All I know is that he loves his family. Like, I'm not joking. That's not like him being in a bunch of having to rescue my family movies. He legitimately is like super protective of his family.
Oh, gotcha. Dude, if you had Harrison Ford as a dad, I'm sure no one's fucking with you. And if they try to, he's just going to go and punch him in the face. Yeah. I remember there was some clip of him, and I think it was, I don't know if it was like David Blaine or something.
Oh, yeah, that also, I think, visibly high, too.
And like David Blaine's in his house, and he does a trick, and then Harrison Ford just looks at him and he goes, "Get the fuck out of my house." But yeah, anyways.
Harrison Ford's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's, hey, gotta hand it to him for being in episode 7. I know he did.
Indiana Jones 5 coming out 2021. Doing it.
Really?
Doing it. Gotta happen. Supposedly.
That's an interesting. It seems like it would have happened by now, right?
They were writing it. I don't know what's going on. I think
Okay.
Lucasfilm is currently occupied with one of the other franchises.
And then of course they probably had to spend a couple years figuring out how to write Shia LaBeouf out of the movie.
It's really not hard to write Shia LaBeouf out of the movie. It's really hard to write Indiana Jones into the movie when you're pretty old. I keep saying what you do, you get like Daniel Day Kim or someone to play a grown-up short round, and then he's Indiana Jones now. You're done. You did it.
Right, yeah.
Speaking of Daniel Day Kim, who's in Hellboy, you know who they just announced is going to be in the Hellboy movie? Lobster Johnson.
Really?
Played by not David Hyde Pierce.
David Alan Grier.
No, who's the guy from Sideways?
Oh.
Sandman.
I don't know his name, but I know who you mean.
He's got 3 names. Thomas Hayden Church.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be Lobster Johnson.
That's cool.
Folks at home, you don't know who Lobster Johnson is. He's like a guy who's punching Nazis and brands them a la New Batman with like lobster claws.
Right.
And he's also a ghost sometimes, depending on which story you're reading.
So when is that movie coming out? January or
April.
February? April. Okay. Cool. It got pushed forward.
Yes.
Or, pushed back.
It's kind of weird in this day and age. Usually, like a movie coming out in January being pushed to April would be a good thing. But nowadays, it could be like, well, movies do good in January now, so maybe they don't have confidence in, it's like that kind of thing. In the same way that like, well, no, never mind. I was going to say Predator was moved to August from January, but then it came out in September anyways, and that movie was
Yeah. Poor Predator. Can't catch a break.
it just seems like it'd be so easy to make a good Predator movie.
All he wants to do is hunt his prey, and fucking big Hollywood keeps getting in the way.
They should just make a $20 million Predator movie where he's just a silent film where Predator's in the jungle hunting like some monster.
Yeah, I just want. That's all it should be, is him hunting beefcakes. That's it.
Not beefcake, just like a Cthulhu monster or something.
Well, yeah, I mean that could be a beefcake too, right?
I guess so.
Like a beefcake alien.
See, I think people put too much stock on the beefcake thing. I keep saying that it's not the beefcakes that matters; it's the lampooning current action movie trends that matters.
Oh yeah, like a superhero team,
Like a superhero team,
so
or the Fast and Furious family,
Yeah.
or whatever's going on, or even John Wick. It's the Predator v John Wick.
If it was literally Predator meets John Wick, I would be all over that. I mean, it's bad for the John Wick lore for sure.
Like you just start the movie with a half hour of John Wick type kicking ass, and then the Predator shows up. Done. Your movie's written. You don't have to be no kids, no family, nothing.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Everyone, tomorrow's voting day. You're getting this a week late or a day late.
That's
but
right.
Go and vote for the new Predator movie where they make it so it lampoons modern day action movie trends.
Was that Prop 21?
I think it was Prop 21, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How great would it be if the world was, you had to vote on movies? Like,
Might as well.
it's like they want to make I'm also not joking about this. They want to make a origin story for Willy Wonka. Prop W, yes or no? Do you vote yes or no on Prop W? It's a hard no.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting idea.
That's just the example. I don't really care one way or another, but
What if there was some weird kind of poll or
Oh,
like
we're talking about the poll. I thought
voting?
I thought you were going to go into a tirade about how a Willy Wonka prequel might be a good idea.
Oh no, thank you.
Still don't care. Might
no,
be cool. Don't care though.
I'm talking about if a studio just was like, "Hey guys, we're trying to decide on our next project," and then they give you like whatever 5 options or something, and people actually vote on that shit.
They did that for pilots on Amazon Prime, I recall.
Oh,
They let you vote for them. Hell, the show that we worked on was part of that too, where it was a pilot vote program. Ours didn't
Really?
get voted for, but we still got made anyways.
oh,
Back in the day, when we used to work in the same industry.
oh. I don't know. Sure, you're talking about, but
The Adult Swim show.
oh, okay, really,
Yeah, it was part of their pilots program.
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
except it didn't win, but it got picked up anyway.
Right, it didn't win, but it got picked up anyways.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they do that sometimes with that. That'd be kind of interesting.
That was me.
Oh, okay. I was like, I heard a noise. Halloween's over. It's Guy Fawkes Day today.
Oh yeah, it is Guy
Dating
Fawkes
this
today.
podcast. I used to watch V for Vendetta every year on Guy Fawkes Day. For
Really?
like 5 years. For V years.
How ceremonious of you.
And then I stopped because I kind of just stopped. I should watch that movie again. That movie was really good. That was the most surprising movie I've ever seen in my life because that was back in the days when I thought movies, when I was a high schooler and was like, oh, this movie's going to be shit. I try not to do that anymore, obviously.
I remember seeing the trailer for the movie and thinking that his mask was funny looking, and then I thought, that movie's gonna be dumb.
I thought the trailer basically was like, this is like just like an underworld type movie, whatever.
Right, yeah.
And my mom was like, hey, we're going to go see The Shaggy Dog. I was like, fuck you, Mom. Buy me a ticket to V for Vendetta. And she's like, okay. And so she did. And so I went to go see that instead of The Shaggy Dog. I was blown away by how not only was V for Vendetta not terrible, it was actually kind of great. It's kind of a great movie.
And I'm actually glad I saw the movie without reading the comic because everybody who's read the comic says that the movie sucks. And I'm like, how can you say this movie sucks? It's great.
The comic's like about like something completely different from the movie, isn't it? Like the theme, like even like the core theme is like not the same.
Right. Well, the comic makes V a bit more. You don't really quite know what his motive is.
Well,
he's a bit more evil in the comic?
Isn't the comic about just like anarchy, fuck everyone, and the movie's about like justice and the people,
Right.
and it's a little more hopeful that way.
Well, that's the thing is I think the movie kind of tapped into some sort of cultural zeitgeist at the time,
A
right?
bit, and then you had all those people walking around with Guy Fawkes masks. Where are they?
That was just fucking 4chan Reddit
Yeah, it was
shit.
4chan, well, mostly 4chan and Anon, whatever. But like, you think
Yeah.
that like nowadays in our current political climate, they've disappeared. You think they'd be more present in our sort of like fight the power?
Well, those people popped up during Obama, though.
Well, they popped up during the Wall Street thing. What was it? That was
yeah.
like post-recession
Right.
thing. I think it was more like spawned by that than anything.
Right.
More
yeah.
like, man, the fucking, the big, big soap is taking over the world. Or whatever
Yeah.
industry.
Funny times.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep. Pretty funny. I mean, that's why Guy Fawkes is always smiling.
he is always smiling. Yeah, and we got to remember, kids, is like even through the hard times, you just gotta smile.
Yeah.
Guy
And also, Guy Fawkes was like burned alive, so
Oh
maybe don't try and be like him.
wow.
You don't know who that? Do you not know Guy Fawkes?
I mean, I'm a casual.
I mean, I don't know if he was actually burned alive. He was definitely executed.
Right.
Yeah, because he tried to blow up Parliament so he could install a Catholic regime.
Right. Yeah. And that's why they blew up Parliament in the movie.
And that's why they burn
Yay.
effigies of him every year.
Yeah.
So
Silly.
whatever. Anyways, that's probably it. So
I
until
think
next
so.
week, the normal gamut of things. How's this go again? You can reach us at filmtestedvoyage.com, filmtestedvoyage@gmail.com, facebook.com/filmtestedvoyage, youtube.com/filmtestedvoyage. Letterboxd, Batman Crothers.
Well, okay. Hey, folks, we're both on Letterboxd. You should join Letterboxd too. It's a movie review site where it works like Facebook, where you can add friends and look at their movie reviews. He's
Batman Crothers.
Batman Crothers. I'm Mr. Kerosene. keep up with us on Letterboxd. We're leaving movie reviews all the time on Letterboxd.
Unless you're me and you've been super fucking busy.
Unless you're Alex and you've been super fucking busy. Hey, hang in there, Alex.
I'm trying.
Things will get better.
Ooh-wee.
Hey, everybody. We are a part of a bigger podcast network, the Let Me Listen Podcast Network. All right, this is primo podcasting on the Let Me Listen Podcast Network.
That's the free kind of primo podcasting.
That's a free primos, free primo pizza. There's a bunch of podcasts on the Let Me Listen Podcast Network related to movies, related to a whole bunch of things, including you can find us on there. This is on SoundCloud. This is on iTunes. You can leave comments. You can leave reviews. So go ahead and do those things.
Basically those two things.
So go ahead and
you can tell your friends.
Tell your friends about us.
If we haven't mentioned that already.
That's right. And then this is where I run out of things to say, so I usually just awkwardly say goodbye. Yeah. Hey, everybody, watch some movies. Talk to us. Subscribe. Oh, yeah, subscribe and hit that like button.
Don't do that. Don't tell people what to do. I hate that. Why don't you go smash that like button, give us do whatever, do whatever you want.
Go ahead and smash it.
Just do whatever you want. I don't care.
Yeah, fucking unsubscribe if you want to.
Unsubscribe and resubscribe. Confuse us.
Yeah.
We're here for us.
You'll see us next time on the Filmtastic Voyage. Goodbye.
See ya.